I suppose we'll start kind of at the beginning. I have heard you talk about some of your experiences. I won't go as far back to your 13 years of age was your first one, but when you talk about Mount Shasta, you had a bit of quite an experience there. Can you tell us the details of that? What exactly happened to you in Mount Shasta?
Well, I had two really profound experiences. One profound experience, and then I was guided to move there. But I've always lived in California, and Mount Shasta is in California, and it holds a really high frequency. It holds the kind of new Earth energies, right? These 5D consciousness energies. Also is connected to Lemuria and Atlantis, and so it has a, a, a home type energy, right? Like you feel at home there. I was always guided to go there since I was really young. In 1995, I was in college and I was guided to go to Mount Shasta for this retreat that was 5 days, and it was a retreat on ascension. And this was in 1995. And it was the very first time that I was guided into the mountain energetically. So I was able to really experience sort of what was being held within this mountain on an energetic level. And I started to tap into light beings and galactic stuff and ascended masters. And I really had a profound awareness that there was something bigger here, but I still didn't exactly know what it was. I just knew this was something. That was in 1995. So 20 years later, 2015, I go back and I have another really profound experience where it was like, hey, Lorie, it's been 20 years. You need to now get going, and you need to get to work. You need to start doing your work. So 20 years later, I was like, okay, I'm going to do my work. This was in 2015. I come back to San Francisco. I'm still working in private equity. 2016, I quit my private equity firm. I start doing my work online, just kind of, I don't even really know what I was doing. I was just offering sessions and sort of channeling ascended masters and things like that. And my guide said, we need you to move to Mount Shasta ASAP. And I was like, oh my God, what do you mean? There's nothing in Mount Shasta. There's no yoga studios, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, I hightailed it up to Mount Shasta. I do whatever my guides say. So I said, okay, fine, I'll go. And it was in Mount Shasta for 1.5 years where I was sort of in a boot camp. And that's really where I spent literally every day connecting to higher dimensional beings every single day. Went through my own really massive dark night of the soul and cleared out a lot of trauma. But more than anything, it was initiating me into opening myself up and opening up my vessel to receive the higher dimensional information that was coming through, and learning how to translate it into words so that I could start to teach and share. So it was an intense initiation for about 18 months. And then I hightailed it back to San Francisco. As soon as I knew I was done and I could leave. I love Mount Shasta, but it's a really difficult place to live if you are because there's an intensity that happens when you're there. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of peeling back. It's a very intense place to live if you're in the body.
Yeah, I'd imagine it brings.
It was the initiation.
Yeah, it was the initiation. Okay, cool. So you mentioned in that description there, Lemuria and Atlantis. Okay, and so what we're going through right now, we are going through this kind of shift in consciousness. If anybody doesn't know that by now, we're definitely going through it. So we are going through this ascension process. We've been through this before in Lemuria and Atlantis, okay? And did we learn from those experiences, do you feel? And what did we learn?
Okay, well, when you ask, did we learn, that would mean that we would have to be conscious, right? So the only way to learn from what we've been through is if you're conscious of what we've been through. And even those of us that are conscious of what we've been through in the past millions of years ago, it's challenging to take that awareness and move it into the now moment, because we are in a very dense physical reality. We are in a very dense reality, which means that we feel a lot, and we are pulled by those emotions. We're pulled by those thoughts. We're pulled by those beliefs. It's almost there. It's overwhelming at times. So even if we remember the millions of years ago that we were pulled down from a fifth dimensional consciousness and awareness to a third dimensional consciousness and awareness, right? Even if there's an awareness around that of like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that happening. I think I was there. We're still standing here in this physicality, trying to navigate the very simple things of, everything that's going on out there, right? I don't even have to say it, right? So it's almost like the bigger perspective is what we want to recognize, which is that consciousness shifts based on the way you choose to be in your reality. So that's really what the lesson is your choice in your beliefs, your choice in your thoughts, your choice in how you live, your choice in how you are creating your reality is what impacts your own consciousness and the entire human collective's consciousness. That is how we got pulled down. We got pulled down by every single individual's human consciousness, starting by choice to move down into lower states. And eventually the entire collective moves down. And that's what we're doing now. Every human has the opportunity in this now to start to choose higher states of consciousness. And as every human starts to awaken and choose those, it eventually, on a very small scale, very slowly begins to pull the entire human collective into the higher states. But as you can see, it's like literally pulling molasses through, a small little tube. It's torture. It's literally torture for us right now. But we've done it before in the opposite direction. Okay, so many of us can remember that. Oh my God, I remember 5D humans, the fifth dimensional consciousness humans, slowly moved down into these lower states of consciousness over millions of years. And so now it's this remembrance of my state of consciousness has an impact not only on myself, but on the entire human collective.